Hey guys, it's Alicia from Chalk Couture Studio. Today we are going to be inking on this shirt. We're going to be using this transfer right here, and we're going to use the rainbow pieces to add some colors at the bottom of the shirt. So this demo, I am just going to show you how I peel the transfer off. It is a sticky back. It's reusable. You want to make sure you peel it all the way off of your backing sheet, and you want to lay it on your shirt. Before, when I was prepping the shirt, I use a Chalk Couture ink mat to help me smooth the wrinkles out of the shirt. It has a sticky adhesive on one side so that your shirt can lay flat and taut. We are going to be using two ink colors for these words. I'm going to be using white up here at the top and then red down here. I'm going to use a small squeegee for both of the ink colors. I will show you the ink colors now. That's the red and the white. And I do use the large squeegee to make sure that I get all of the air bubbles out of my silk screen. I want a really good stick on my fabric, whether it be a shirt, a tote bag, you name it. I'm going to start with the white and the small squeegee. And I'll load it up and add it to the green part of the screen, and then I'm just going to work real fast and try to cover all of those silk screen areas. You might need to load up a little bit more. You don't have to work as fast. If you've done this with the chalk, you don't have to work as fast with the ink. I just like to work fast because I want to get this done. I'm a very impatient crafter. So I want to make sure that I get this done and I get it hung up so that it can dry for 24 hours. Sometimes you're going to get a little bit of the old ink, and then you can just wipe it off on your edge of your jar. And just keep working it till you get all those areas filled in, and then you want to scrape off the excess. You don't want too much, and you don't want the lines in between, because then they'll show up on your letters. Alright, so that's done. Let's do the red. And I don't need a lot of ink on the red. It's going to go on smooth, it's going to go on fast. What you don't want is you don't want your transfer to be sliding around, because then you're going to get a ghosting effect on your ink underneath your letters. So you want to make sure you have a really good stick. If you use your transfer too many times and you lose your stick because this has been like your favorite transfer and you've been using it on everything, you can use temporary stencil spray to give it more stick. But basically, once you get done with this process, we're going to peel it up, and then this transfer is going to be sprayed off with cold water, and I'm going to hang it up to dry. And then I can reuse it several times. So the process to unstick this is to peel up from two corners. So I'm going to peel from the bottom corners, and I'm just going to peel up and away. And it's that easy. So this, now I'm just going to go throw it in the sink and use the sprayer and spray this off. And I have one of those sweater racks that I just hang it over and let that dry, and it dries really fast, and then I can use it for another shirt. So let me pause this real quick, and I'll be right back, and I'll show you the next step. Alright, so we're back. What I do now is I take my heat gun, and I want to dry this. It's not going to completely dry until you heat press it, but I want to dry it enough so that I can start adding my other pieces for the little rainbow. And then I'm going to hang this shirt for 24 hours, and then I'm going to come back and heat press it. When you heat press it, you want to heat press at 305 degrees for 30 seconds on each side, so the front and the back. You want to use some parchment paper in between, and once it's heat set for 30 seconds, it is completely finished. So it doesn't take a lot of time or effort for setting up the silk screening process, and anybody can pretty much create a ton of shirts rather quickly. So the rainbow pieces are several, And you can see that we can't lay them all down at the same time. We have to do one at a time because this transfer is going to overlay this. So we're going to do the first color, and then we're going to dry it with the heat gun. Then we're going to do the next color, and so on. This is such a cute shirt. The color is perfect, and I think the rainbow is going to be the cool finishing touch. Alright, so I'm going to get smaller squeegees because we're not going to use a lot of ink on these. These are our mini squeegees. And we're going to start off with this purple color. This is called Regal. It is available on our chalk shop. It is so pretty. This is a really pretty purple color. And that's going to start off our rainbow. So I'm going to take a small mini squeegee and load it up. And we're going to go ahead and ink that first arc on that rainbow. Be careful not to get ink outside of your green screen area because it is permanent and you'll have a hard time washing it off. So that's done. Set this over here, and we're going to peel back that transfer, and then we're going to heat press it. Oh, how cute is that? All right. Heat gun. The ink mats are available now in our chalk shop. If you go to mcs.chalkcouture.com, you will find them there. They have two different sizes. They have a skinny size. Let me see if I have one I can show you. Let me set this down real quick. They have two sizes of ink mats. The one that's in the shirt right now is, I think this is a 12 by 24. It's sticky on one side and it's just a regular plastic on the other. And then there's a, I think this is a an 18 by 18 square for your larger pieces like your tote bags, your hoodies, things like that. So it's going to take up a little bit more room. And they work really good. If you don't have the ink mats, you can always use cardboard, or you can use another type of craft mat that you can spray some adhesive on it. And you want to use the Stencil Ease. You don't want to use the kind that's permanent adhesive because then it's just going to stick and you're going to have a lot of glue on your fabric and it's going to be really gross. So the next one is this Tide color. It's a really pretty teal turquoise color. And I'm hoping it shows up okay on this blue shirt. It is a little bit darker, so let's see how we do. Learning how to use the squeegee is probably the key to success when you're working with the Chalk Couture products, because it's not like your regular paintbrush and it's not like your spatula at home. It is just a plastic rubbery squeegee with an angled edge. I'll show you what it looks like. Just a second. So it's got an angled edge. I think you can see that okay. It slopes down. You want to use this side when you're working with your ink. So you want your squeegee to be perpendicular to your transfer when you're applying your, let's see if I can show you, when you're applying your chalk or your ink and you want to work like this, and you want to hear that scraping sound because that means you are pushing it through that mesh. There's a mesh, not like a regular open stencil, but there's a mesh to the transfer, and that's where the ink and the chalk get transferred onto your shirt. Alright, let's take the heat gun. Next color we're going to use is this bubblegum pink. It is called Couture Coral. There's not a lot of coral to this. It's more like a very bright pink color, maybe almost like your Pepto-Bismol bottle pink. It is so pretty when you actually apply it to your fabrics. So let's go ahead and put the next rainbow piece on there. These are all numbered, by the way, so they have numbers here. And if you're using chalk, you can use these guidelines here, these marks, to help you align them. I just kind of eyeball it just because we're working with ink and I don't want to add any extra marks to it. And I can kind of see through, beneath the layer where my previous color was, so I'm just going to lay it on there, and I'm just trying to smooth the edges of this rainbow right in here. I don't want to smooth all of that because it might peel up some of the wet ink that's still there. So always be mindful of what you're working on, what you're doing, and be careful with your ink so that your ink doesn't drop on your fabric as you are transferring it over to your area where you're going to be inking. And if you do make mistakes, there's a lot of little tiny transfers like hearts and butterflies and things that you can actually correct your mistakes if that happens. And I'll show you how small they are so that you can kind of get an idea of what I'm talking about. Alright, the pink is done. Let's peel that back. Cool. Alright, the heat done. We have loads of ink color in the catalog and online. You can go look. We just had a product release earlier this month, so a lot of the products are sold out. But if you see something that you like, contact me. I may have it in stock, and I did buy a little bit of extra for my customers. And just let me know if there's something there that's out of stock and you really, really need it, and I'll see if we can work something out. So next one is the last one. This is the tiny rainbow arc that goes underneath. Last one, and this is going to be a yellow, really bright yellow. This is called Bumblebee. This is probably one of the fastest selling inks. Not inks, but in the chalk. This is very, very popular with folks that are doing a lot of flowers and springtimey projects. So, alright, so we're going to load up our squeegee, and then we're going to finish off this little rainbow. It really doesn't take a lot of time. You just need to, focus on your projects and try not to get distracted so that your inks are all laying out open and then they get dried. And if they do get dried or a little bit gummy, just add a little bit of distilled water and mix it all up. See, that pink was still a little bit wet, and I pulled some of that up on the transfer. So you want to make sure that you dry your layers really good in between. Oh, it's really cute though. I really like it. You can use all kinds of colors on that rainbow. You can do like a gradient, black to gray to white, pink. We even have shimmer colors. So shimmer ink, like copper and silver, gold. In the chalks we have some shimmer white and some really cool new shimmer colors that are so cool. You can't use them on the shirts because they're not permanent. All of our chalk is washable, so you can redo your projects. And for now, this is pretty much done. We're going to go ahead and remove it from the backer sheet, or from the ink mat, and I'm going to hang it. I'm going to leave it sit for 24 hours, and then I'm going to use the parchment paper and the heat press to press this into the fabric permanently. So 30 seconds each side on your heat press with parchment paper in between. And your setting is 305 degrees. So I hope that helps. Let me fold this up and give you kind of a close-up so you can kind of see how the letters came up. Hang on one second. All right, so here we are. We're up close. I'll show you what the ink looks like. Once you get that pressed into the shirt, you will not see that ink laying on top of your fabric. It is going to fuse with your fabric so that when you rub your hand across it, it's going to feel like one with the t-shirt. So you can see that the pink kind of lifted up a little bit, but once we flatten that out with the heat press, it's going to be so cool. So that's it, guys. It's not hard. It's really easy. Don't be intimidated. If you want to practice, don't practice on your final product. Use like the Dollar Tree shirts and practice. Get a feel for the transfer and the ink and the squeegee, and you can practice on the cotton squares, fat quarters, things like that. If you're going to be doing a lot of cotton fabrics, or practice on jerseys like this, just cut them up, old ones, and then try it so that you can kind of get the hang of it. So I hope you like what you see. If you want to get some supplies, the website is MCS. It stands for Mountain Chalk Studio. MCS.chalkcouture.com. Thanks, guys. We'll see you next time.